Hi guys, I have a distress resist tag and Prismacolour pencil tutorial for you today. I'm going to use these two lawn fawn stamp sets called Snow Day and Deck the Halls. And I'm going to start with Snow Days and a adorable little bunny. I'm using the black licorice ink by Lawn Fawn to stamp it up, some scratch paper. I believe it's Nina cardstock, and I'm going to use my Prismacolour pencils to color in the little bunny. So I'm going to start out with the darkest of the Prismacolour pencils, and I'm adding my shadows onto the bunny's ears and around the face. What I like about playing around with color pencils is that they are very forgiving. They are quite easy to layer. With the Prismacolour pencils you have to have a very light hand, but otherwise they're pretty simple to layer. I'm going to use some odorless mineral solution, I think it's called, to blend these colors out, but I start out just coloring in where I want the color to be. And I'm using one pretty dark, almost walnut brown, and one kind of reddish brown. Which color you use isn't really that important. I just picked two browns because I wanted two browns. You want one to be a little bit lighter in the color and one that is a little bit darker in the color, so that you have a difference between them and you can color the whole image and give its shadows. All of the coloring today is actually done in real time, no speeding up, and I thought you just check. This is about how fast I am when I work with my color pencils. I'm also adding some kind of skin pink for the ear and the little tail. This is my little odorless mineral spirit. You can use whichever you find in your art. I'm using a paper stamp, and if you can see this on the ear, I actually did have a little bit of color left on that stamp. It really didn't make that much of an impact, so I'm not redoing anything or so. But it could be good to know that I use different nibs. I bought kind of a pack of 6 or something, and I use different nibs for different kind of color spectrums. I have one for reds, one for browns, one for lighter pinks, a little bit like that. I have a whole bunch of them lying. Having so much fun playing around with my color pencil, and I have like Prismacolour pencils and polychromos, and they are very different on how you play with them. This is just the Prisma because they actually work easier with the solution, so that is why I chose them. Now I felt that the bunny needed a little bit more shading, so I'm just going in with the pencil on top and just adding the shades, more of the shading where I want it to. And then I'm going to go in with my odorless mineral spirits to kind of go over it. If you are afraid, this doesn't actually smell anything, but it will kind of give off some toxic fumes, so you should be careful when you use it. But if you don't want to have that where you work, I have heard you can use baby oils. I haven't tried it myself. I'm gonna try it though, I think, but I think you could use them. Not fully know about that. Then I'm cutting the little bunny out. I'm using my EK Success Cutter B scissors when I'm cutting the bunny out. And this is also, again, it's real time. This is how slow I go with my scissors. Very rarely go faster than this. And that is actually a really good tip if you like to cut out your images, is to go very, very slow. The other is to find a pair of scissors that have very thin blades. This do have very thin blades, so that is a good thing. You don't need to have very long blades, so shorter blades like this scissor is also a good one. And then the last kind of tip I have is try to move the paper instead of the scissors, because that is much easier, as you see I'm doing here. And our bunny is finished. So now we're going to do the tag part. I'm going to use some Versamark ink because we're going to heat emboss a lot. We're going to do some distress resisting. First, I'm going to do the sentiment, and I wanted the sentiment to be kind of glittery and fun. So this is going to be stamped in some gold embossing powder, and I have cut that stamp apart. I was very scared when I did that. I think I only done it with 1 or 2 other stamp set, but it worked out really good. It was very simple to cut it apart, and it didn't hurt the stamp. I can still put it together pretty easily to use that sentiment. After heat embossing this, I'm again going over with my little embossing tool by AK Success. Then I'm going to do some snowflakes, and I have double mounted these. So I mounted one of the snowflakes on one side, and then I have turned around and the whole block and kind of turned it 180 degrees and put the other snowflake. So I just kind of turn it to not get the ink from the snowflake again. I'm going to use some holographic Ranger embossing powder, which is basically like a clear embossing powder with holographic glitter in it. I really like it. So I'm just pouring it over my snowflakes, and then I'm heat embossing that again. And this is what's gonna do the kind of distress resist effect. So I'm starting out with some Salty Ocean to be my base color, and this is going to go as fast as I usually go when I do it. Everything in this video is actually real time. I am going to do some of this blending, and I have a few tips for you to get a more of an even blend. One is, don't put pressure on your tool. Be very light, kind of just hold the tool in your fingers and let the tool go slowly over the paper. You don't need to put any pressure. It's when you put pressure you start to get lines, and also you will get that more of an uneven, because you won't get a better result or a faster result by putting pressure. You might think that you would get a faster result, but due to you getting those lines, you actually have to blend even more just to get the result you want. So as little pressure as possible, and your blending will turn out great. And you have to have patience, because it takes some time. As you can see, it takes quite a long time to do this, and this is on a very teeny tiny tag. For the next step, I'm using the Faded Jeans, and I'm actually using the same blender tool. Usually I don't have to change the foam on the blender tool if I'm just going through my blues. If I'm going to the darkest of the blues and want to start with the lightest again, I just take a scrap of paper and rub the tool over a couple of times, and then I go back to my lighter shades. It saves me both blending foam thingies, but also really much time, because I don't have to switch them, and I don't need to have a lot of different tools. And for the third color I'm using is Chipped Sapphire. With the Faded Jeans, I went in about halfway in. With the Chipped Sapphire, I actually doing much smaller circles. I'm letting the circles kind of be on the outside, except for on the bottom of the tag, where I actually added a little bit extra. But the Chipped Sapphire is just there to kind of edge it. Now to make the tag, I'm using these tools. This is the 1/4 inch corner shumper that I'm used, and then I'm going back over with my little foamy thingy. Then I'm taking another corner shumper which has scallop and clouds, and I'm using the scallop side to kind of shump the 2 upper corners to give it more of a tag finish. And I'm again going in with my little tool to edge it back with that dark chipped sapphire. I actually don't add ink to it, I just use it as it is. And then I use the Memory Keeper hole punch to make my little extra punch there. So now you have the tag itself. Then I actually went and wanted a heart also, which is in the Snow Day stamp set, and I stamped it with some cranberry lawn fawn ink. Sadly, I did it outside of screen, so I don't have that footage. But it's quite simple, and then I'm just cutting it out with the same white border. I wanted it to look a little bit more like the bunny, so I'm adding a black outline around that heart. It's not perfect, but it's perfect enough. So this is just a 0.3 black marker. As I'm not coloring anything, and this is the kind of last step, it can be whatever marker you have at home or liner you have at home. Then I'm using some Scotch foam tape to kind of add my little bunny and my little heart to my tag. To finish the tag off, I am going to use some lawn trimmings. This is the one with the red glittery gold part, and my package is a little bit bent, so it's hard to get the thread out of it, but I'm hoping that after I've used it a while it will glide a little bit better. Then I'm just gonna thread one end through the hole and add a little bit of a knot at the top, and the tag is done. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up, it means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Down below you can find all the details and all the materials that I'm used, including a link to my blog with images of the tag. Here are 2 other videos annotated with lawn fawn stamps. Thanks so much for watching, and I see you later. Bye!